Going on? Jackson here. Welcome to the Midyear Celebrations Gone Pursuit run through. There's 27 options in total. You only need to do 18, so there's a few of these that you probably want to skip. I'm just going to cover a few immediately off the bat that I'm not going to do sections for. Improved bag and bank capacity. I don't suggest you do these unless you've got 10 riding capacity upgrades to do over 10 days, because bank capacity is ridiculously expensive to upgrade, and bag capacity can be as well if your characters don't have much. The only way I think would be worth it doing this is like upgrading it 10 times on 10 different characters for 400 gold each, because it ramps up in price very quick. It gets to like tens of thousands of gold, and this gets to like hundreds of thousands of gold worth. So I don't recommend these at all. Riding skills, fairly straightforward, but I imagine most people know how to do this one. Claiming rewards, I assume everyone knows how to do this. Just go to announcements, either when you get in or via the main menu, and then earning levels and ranks. If you want a simple way for these, just refer to the quest section, particularly the new character section. Just equip a random weapon, get 1 kill on that weapon, and then do that strategy with just like doing the specific quest, and you'll get some levels and some ranks in the skill line quite quick. Or I'll link in the description my leveling up via Dolmens and dungeons that I like, a video that I did a while back that explains how I do that sort of thing. Those are the only real ways I'll do these. That, or like do other stuff while you're doing it, like incursions or whatever. Yeah, I won't talk about these at all, because especially these ones here, I'll just skip them. The only one I wanted to talk about is weekly endeavors. You can't actually complete this one right now, but they are aware that this is not possible. 5 weeklies, this requires 28 days for the 5th weekly to become available, so it's impossible to complete with this much time, but they are changing this. I think they're changing it to 1 weekly. So if you complete the weekly for this week, that's all you have to do, and it will count. It'll be compatible for when they change it. So if you complete one, that's it. You'll have done this one whenever it changes. Or you can just do the weeklies in the next. And I make the videos for the weeklies each week, so if you want how I would do these, I do videos for those as well. Alright, so I guess I'll just quickly go through writing skills, I'm assuming most people know how to do these. But if you don't, the quickest one to get to is right here, Lanesti, just to the east of the Wayshrine and Vocal Guard that you start with. The only thing is, if you're a stage 4 vampire, you can't talk to her. If you are a vampire, just make sure you can get mesmerized, and then you can talk to her. Okay, 5 homes, 5 furnishings. You can do these both at the same time pretty easily. This one, your homes also count, so you can just kind of visit your own home over and over. And yeah, this one here, you can get some houses for free that come with a furnishing straight off the bat. So you don't need to pay for any furnishings, don't need to pay for any homes. You can do these both pretty easily. So what I suggest you do is you come to this location here, just slightly northwest of the starting Wayshrine in Vocal Guard that you'll have access to immediately, where this house is. Talk to Furnishings Marie, this lady here. She'll give you a quest. Just talk to her and you'll complete the quest. As you see here, you get a house for free. So just complete that. It'll also count for the completing quests challenge and the weekly at the moment if you get that too. And now what you do is you open up the map, you go to houses here. In the collected tab, it'll show you the houses that you got available. So you'll either have the Rosy Lion, the Ebony Flask Inn Room, or the Marius Kiss Public House, depends on your alliance. So just grab any of these, and they all come with the same thing. They all have a candle inside them. Now this is the Merry one. So if you do this, what I suggest you do is you get 3 characters on all different alliances, and you go do this quest for Furnishings Marie so you can get all 3 of these free houses. Or at least do the one for Old Merry Dominion, because that house is super helpful, because it's right next to a Wayshrine. So what you can do is, if you're in the middle of nowhere, you can just travel to this house from anywhere for free, outside of Cyrodiil obviously, and then you can just travel straight to the Wayshrine. So it just means if you're in the middle of nowhere and you just want to get out straight away, you can just do that to save time. Now when you get inside, firstly, you'll notice that it counts as a player home here. So all you have to do to complete this is literally just go out, back in, out, in, over and over again. And that's all you have to do. Or you can go, another way you can do it is home tours. You can just go any house and recommend it and just keep traveling to random houses here. And that's also free. Now, when you're in your own house, bring up the housing editor at the bottom right there. So F5 for PC. See this little candle here? You pick this up and you put it away. And at the bottom left, you'll see it says undo. I don't know why it says it twice. I think it's an add-on thing. But just press that Z key for undo, and then it'll come up with redo as the Y key, and you just press those over and over. Spam those two keys. And if you look into Golden Pursuits now, it counts as placing furnishings. So yeah, no cost required for this one at all. And yeah, now I'll just go leave home and just go back out and come back in, and then just do that to complete the other one. Now I'll go back in. And so that's 2. So you can just keep doing that over and over. Okay, so for the updating an outfit option, there's 2 things I suggest you do. So the 0 cost option, the one I would prefer if you can, you need to have the hide helmet option selected. So if you're wearing a helmet, if you want the helmet to stay, it is going to cost you gold to do it that way. But if you have hide helmet, it's free. So what you want to do is have the hide helmet option first, go clear slot. So for some reason, even though it says it costs 50 gold here, it doesn't actually cost anything. So you can just do that. And then from there, you can also hide your helmet again, and that also costs no gold. So that's a free way to do it. If you have your helmet on, because it will cost gold to put it back on, it's not something I suggest. What I suggest you do instead is go to dyes, grab any one, doesn't matter which one, go put one on any random piece that you've got that needs to be dyed. Weapons shouldn't be done though, because they cost more gold. Just go any piece of armor. So you can see that it costs 50 gold. Just do that, and then whatever armor dye you had on before, just put it back on, and that's 50 gold again. So just 100 gold to do it that way. Those are the 2 ways let's just do it. Anything else other than that is kind of like complicating things further. As for the selling items to merchants option, find any merchant in the game, blacksmiths, enchanters, people like that, they all have a store that you can use, and they all count for doing this. So just find any merchant, go into the sell category, and doesn't matter what you sell, just anything that you have a lot of. So for example, I've got some lockpicks here, I'll sell this, and that will count. Now what you do is go to buy back, and whatever item that you just sold, just buy that back. And it doesn't cost you any more gold to buy it back from them. You don't lose any gold, you don't make any gold, but you can just complete the challenge that way. So, Mundus Stones. This is the one I'd recommend for people who don't know, or don't know if they have any other way shrines to any other Mundus Stones. This is an easy one to reach, just a little bit northwest of Vocal Guard Way Shrine that you start with, so it's easy to get to. Alika Desert has one very close to a way shrine here, if you've got that. And then there's also, if you want the Thief Stone back, because I assume most people like to use the Thief because of how many builds use this one, this is the one I usually go to in Eastmarch. Now, what I would suggest, if you can find one, get yourself a guildhall that you can get easy access to. The reason for that is when you go and use like a Mundus Stone such as this one, you want to... the problem is that it will take away the Mundus Stone that you had before. In this case, for me, I had the Thief, so you have to go and get that one again. But what you can do is you can use the guild halls, very specific ones that have all the Mundus Stones in them, to not only get this Mundus Stone, but also go like right next door and basically get the other Mundus Stone that you need. Or the one that you're using before, anyway. So as an example here, this house has all the Mundus Stones in 2 lines, and so what I do in this case is just grab this one here, if the game will work. And now that I've got this one, I just turn around and grab the Thief because it's right here. So it just saves you the extra little trip of getting to the other Mundus Stone. It's not a huge deal, but it is just like a convenience thing. Now this is, if you go to Home Tours, type in the user ID, it is Royal Tonberry. No. Yeah, there we go. So Skyscraper. So this is the one on North American's PC server. For the EU server, I will also link that in the description as well. The at name is Varlav, and the house name is I think it's Rawr GuildHall. Bit of a specific name they got to look for, but yeah, either of those works. And just make sure you go browse homes, because sometimes recommended doesn't show you what you want. I don't know any on console, unfortunately. If anyone knows any good guild halls with all the Mundus Stones on console, could you please tell me? Because I'll include those as well. Because yeah, I'd love to know what works there, but I just don't play on console, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, very simple to do the Mundus Stone one as well. Alright, purchasing from a guild trader. So when you go into these guild traders, you can find one very close to the Wayshrine again, Vocal Guard, common and clutch. There's one here, but you must understand that there are heaps of guild traders in this game. There's 5 in Skywatch, there's 7 in Mournhold Desharn, there's 5 in Ebonheart, there's bloody 7 in Grantwood, Eldenroot, there's fucking 7 in, not Alaka Desert, 7 in Wayrest, there's 5 in Alaka Desert, there's 7 in Craglawn. You see what I mean? There's fucking heaps. You just gotta know where to look. Probably one of the most common people usually go to is the ones in Vivec City, but I quite like going to the ones less traveled, like for example the one in near the White Strakes set in Shadowfen, just because the ones that are less traveled to tend to be, I find, the ones to have like super cheap items. Just what I've seen, but it's not super important, because usually you'll find like really cheap stuff. So what you want to go is go to all items here, just make sure it's on that, go to the total, click it, and make sure it's got this little up arrow here, and just go search. And the cheapest item that is on the guild store will appear here, and all you got to do is just buy it. And that's it. Just one item from guild traders, and Bob's your uncle. Okay, so next up, once again, proving the superiority of bloody Auradon, I'm going to talk about the crafting with any skill option and the consuming foods option, which you can both do easily in Vocal Guard. Now, it is a little bit of an investment, about 500 gold, maybe less if you find these. What you could do, I suppose, for purchasing an item from guild traders is you could buy one of the recipes that I'm about to use there, because they do show up there cheaper. But if you can't find any, you can find these guaranteed from Chef. So Hizala here, for example, in Vocal Guard, just a little bit north. Sorry. A little bit southwest of the Wayshrine. So I just need to get the Vampirism skill on that so we talk to them. So you go to Chef, and there's these 2 recipes here. You've got baked apples and then banana surprise. These are the only 2 that you need. Might also be worth it getting the fishy stick recipe in the long run whenever you do fishing, because if you fillet fish, you'll get a lot of the fish meat material as well. So just get those 2 recipes, make sure you learn at least one of them, and just remember, it is 500 gold to invest at first, but do remember you are getting 15,000 gold for completing all of these pretty quick. So the investment is worth it, I assure you. Got to speculate to accumulate, right? So now we are headed to this square pier, once again in Vocal Guard, just a little bit southeast. So this area here, it has some items that you can eat and consume as food. These count, but what you want to do as well is look at the bananas and the apples in this tray. Go over here, check this basket here. Sometimes there's apples in it, sometimes there's not. It's just the way it goes. And then some apples here. Now what I suggest you do is get as many as you can here, and then you want to get a total of 15. And it's like, well, Jackson, there's only like 5 or 6 here. What are you talking about? So what you want to do now is go to Imperial City, queue for that. If you're not level 10 on a character and you're trying to do this, just leave the zone from the Wayshrine nearby. It's just quicker using the Imperial City. Because what it does is you'll enter the Imperial City safe zone, you just turn around, look for the exit, the one here, this hallway. And what this will do is it'll take you to where you were before, but it'll reset the zone. So those bananas and apples will return, and you can just loot them again. You turn around so you can see the tray got stuff in it again, so just grab that. And then the apple basket over here, you can see it's actually full now. Sometimes some of these will be missing, don't worry, it's just normal. And you can grab some more food there if you want to, but you don't need to. So there's a cooking station just here, this is what you're looking for. And then you go to fruit dishes, this is where they will be. They'll be at the very bottom. They've got baked apples, and then banana surprise will be here too. So once you've got 15 in total, just craft these. Your inventory screen will look a little different. For example, like it'll look more like this, but I'm just going to add on. That's why that's happening. But yeah, just craft as many of the fruit dishes here, so the baked apples and banana surprise. And then once you've done that, you just consume them. And so you'll do the crafting with any skill with this one, and while you eat the baked apples and bananas fries, that'll count as consuming foods as well. So you can get 2 of these done in one go. Look at that, we've already got our gold. Yeah, just keep in mind there is a cooldown, so you can't just spam these over and over. So yeah, this is a slight waiting time on that. But that's the quickest way. I should also point out, there's crown items. There's like the crown fortifying meals. These ones that you get from the daily rewards. And there's also the crown refreshing drinks that you get from the daily rewards. A little while ago, there was like a stack of 200 that we got once. So yeah, you get a lot of these sometimes. So if you got some of these, you can just use those instead. And that way you don't have to spend on anything. You can also get food and drinks from the chefs. You can buy them with gold. If you want to do it as quick as possible, that's probably the quickest way. Or you can buy stuff with guild stores too. But as for drinks, I'll show you a place I usually go to get these for free. So it's Ebonheart here. Use this house and home tours to get here quickly. Or Heavenheart Chateau that's around the corner. I headed to the Ebony Flask over here. That's where the inn room is. Here. We want to go stealth in this corner. Now, even if you don't have any like stealth buffing passives, you should still be able to go hidden in this corner. And what you want to do is just grab all these drinks here. There should be 6. If there's not enough, you can either try and steal some of the other drinks around here, or you can literally just do what we did before with the crafting with any skill one, and just exit the zone, go to Imperial City, come back, literally get ported straight back here, and then just do the same thing, because those drinks will reset. There's usually enough, usually. So now all you do is just do the same thing. So you go to drinks, and you just consume these whenever they go off cooldown. And then yeah, that's job done. Okay, next up, laundering items. Now you do need a prerequisite for this. It's 15 gold. That's all. Maybe a bit more if you get like certain things that are like different to these items here. But yeah, 15 gold is like what you should need. So all you need to do is come to Craglorn here. This is Belkarth. So again, home tours is your buddy. Look up the El Linear Private Arena home in Browse Homes, and then just travel there, come out here, and then just travel a little bit west, and then you've easily got access to Belkarth. So this is the Gem and Flask. Come up to the 2nd level up here, and you'll see all these items here. You've got venison, garlic, beef, all sorts. Grab all these items. They're all considered stolen, but there's nobody up here, so they can't stop you. You've got a tomato crate here, grab that. The cupboard, grab from that. And sometimes that cupboard will give you an item that you can just sell at a fence for 100 gold, so that can make up the gold that you spend on the laundering of these items. But even then, like, once you launder the items, you can sell them again, and you can get the gold back from what you spent. So it's pretty easy. So yeah, greens, millet sacks here. You've got a suspicious barrel that gives you like a couple of items. Don't know why it does that, but yeah, it's a bit weird. And yeah, you got a crate here, a couple of more items that you can launder. If that's not enough, you got barrels here, you've got a crate here, and then you've got a crate here. And if that's not enough, you come down here, there's a crate, there's a couple of barrels, and yeah. Then you come over here, and you've got the Outlaws Refuge right here. This is also why it's great, because you come into the Outlaws Refuge, you go to the fence, and then you launder everything. So it's just everything's nearby. You just come down here through the gap in the fence there, and your fence is right here. So go ahead and sell the strife board, and you can sell the drinks, the extra drinks that you got too. Yeah, this is the launder tab here, so make sure you hit that, and then just go nuts and launder all your items. So if you go down to the thing here, you'll see we've laundered our items. Now what you want to do is come over here to the merchant. So over here it's Grezavesha. Open up the merchant store. I suppose you could do this too to get the selling items to merchants thing, but you don't need to sell anything to do that. So yeah, just sell all the items you got before, and that makes up the gold that you spent on laundering it. You get all the gold back. Yeah, this is how you do the looting containers one too. So what you can do is you can now go back up to where you were before in that gem and flask, do the same thing again, come back in here, fence or launder the items and then sell them, and then you come back outside and then do the same thing over and over. but I'll just go through the other containers option that I would choose here, which is Imperial City. So go to Imperial City. I suppose you could do this at the same time you do the crafting within your skill, or the foods one, or the drinks one. There's so many times you could do this. Come to these weapon racks here, and all of these items here count as containers. All these these staves, these axes, these mauls, all of these actually count as containers. So you just grab all these. Grab all these items here. Now I actually prefer this over laundering, like, stolen stuff, because stolen stuff, there's a limit to how many you can sell to a fence, whereas this, there's not a limit to how many you can actually sell. Got this stuff here. How many we got left? That's everything. So now we go to a merchant. So where's the nearest merchant? Oh yes, the Home's Goods Furnishing right here. So in junk I had all those items, but they'll be in armor and weapons. You just go through and sell all the ones that you had. Yeah, that's also another way to sell to merchants too. Quests. So the most straightforward set of quests that you can do in like a rapid succession is definitely going to be writs. To find these, each major city has a writ board. There's 2 of them. So there's the equipment writs and the consumable writs. So there's 7 in total you can do per character. 6 if you don't have Somerset. And there's different locations you need to go to in order to access these at first. But TLDR, they are just like craft a couple of items. So as some examples here, I've got a blacksmithing one. Just asked me to make some... Oh yeah, it's an April Fool's thing. So as an example, ignore the goat up there, but it just asks you to use some ancestor silk to make some just generic shit. And then you just hand it in at a location. In Oridon's example, it's over here. And once you hand those in, that's a quest done. So this is a pretty practical way, because you also get some goodies. You get gold materials used to upgrade stuff to to maximum, and then you also get surveys. You get some extra materials to use for your next writs. Gets all sorts of stuff. So yeah, we got a Drake Rack there. That's good. These are like one of the best things you can get at the moment. So as I said, the locations for the people you talk to in order to start writs for the first time, it's dependent on your alliance. So for Old Merry Dominion players, you find Mileneth, the equipment writ giver, here at this location. You find the consumables writ giver here, and they all look exactly the same regardless of alliance. The consumable one is a dark elf bald male, and he's found here. And then Mileneth is a wood elf female with like curly hair. Fearful Covenant locations. In the Fighters Guild here, you'll find Mileneth just out the front, right here. And then Denil Talano will be at the back here somewhere, I think. In Ebonheart Pact, Mileneth will be here, at the back of the inner area of the Fighters Guild. In the outside, I should say. And then in the Mages Guild, Denil Talano will be out here. So you just go in, take a right, and he'll be right there as soon as you get in. The Jewelry Writ Vendor is the same regardless of alliance. In Somerset, he can be found here, just out the front of the crafting area. So to get to this guy easily, if you don't have this way shown yet, the Golden Griffin Goray is a house you can travel to via home tours to get to this guy pretty easily. So if you need materials to craft with, in the materials section, you can find a section here which will have people selling the refined materials. I wouldn't go raw because they're more expensive. And yeah, you can see iron ingots here, ribitite. Generally, I find the things that aren't level 1 or max level resource, I find they're a little bit more rare and more expensive usually. But in this case, it's a bit of an exception. There's a lot of steel ingots here. Yeah, it just depends. So there's heaps of guild traders you can trade with to get this sort of thing, and there's one of these for each type of resource. So yeah, just check those. Now, as far as style materials go, there is a section here, but I do not recommend using any of this stuff here because it just tends to be too expensive. The base racial style materials, they can be found from any of the basic blacksmiths, clothiers, and woodworkers. They sell them for 15 gold a piece, and they sell an infinite source of them. So you should never need to buy them from players. Because for some reason, if I go to Hunil here, so looking at bone, for example, it's 15 gold here per item, but for some reason in guild stores it's like 25 gold on average. Like, don't buy that. Just buy them from here. I don't get it. Anyway, yeah, that's what I do there myself. The next way I would do this is if you have any character slots to create a new character, or if you have some low-level characters that you haven't done this on, create one. Doesn't matter what they are. Just call them Quests Pursuit or Quest Endeavor or whatever, and just go. What you're doing with this character is doing a couple of quests that literally all you have to do is talk to these people. Yeah, it's super easy. So I'll show you where to find these quests. I go to Daggerfall in Glenumbra because I find that to be the easiest way to go about finding all these people. Compared to the other locations, it's more of a walk, whereas Daggerfall is not so much. Next up, in the chat menu, just type in /stuck or find out this, or just go to the Wayshrine if you want. But you just hit this, doesn't cost you any gold, and what it'll do is just move you straight to the Wayshrine nearby. So it just saves you having to run the whole way. Because when a character's new, they tend to be quite slow. So from the Wayshrine, we are travelling to Daggerfall, Glenumbra. So firstly, talk to the Prophet. Just exhaust his dialogue, it's fine. If you have champion points, what I would suggest you do is, firstly, go to the green side, go to Steve's Blessing, just to speed your character up a little bit. And then on the red side, go Sprinter, reduce sprint cost, Hasty, increase sprint speed, and then increase speed with Celerity. And that way you'll be a little bit quicker when you're running around. To this location over here, to talk to Philandemery again. So this counts as a quest. So just complete that, and literally the same thing. So just talk to her, and that's one quest done. Now we are headed to the Fighters Guild. Basically the same place we find the Writ Givers. Just go in, turn right, you'll see Vasil Fernandre here. Just talk to him, and do the same thing. Just keep pressing the talk button. Play the quest. Now we're headed across the road to the Mages Guild. Sorry, yeah, over here. Nimark. So talk to Nimark, and then, yeah, that's the third quest done. Now what you can do from here is a little bit dependent on what you want to do. So you've got the Harbourage. This one's alliance dependent, so with this character being Ebonheart Pact, I'd have to go to Stonefalls. But if you don't know where it's going to be, just go into your journal, find the Harbourage, and go show on map, and it'll show you where to find it on which zone. So you can do that, and then there's also the Western Skyrim Antiquarian Circle quest. So you come here, this Wayshrine that you start with by default. You need the Greymore DLC to access this though, but if you do have it, it's good, because you can come in here, you can talk to her. All you have to do to complete this quest is you talk to her, turn around, interact with some item, then go back, and then talk to her again, and that's another quest done. And then you've got the, yeah, like I said, you've got the Harbourage. All you have to do with this one is listen to the Prophet talk about some stuff, and just follow him around as he walks around, and then you'll leave, and then you can complete the quest again. Then you can do the Lyris one, Lyris Titanborn one, getting her out of prison, and you can also do the, if you get your character to, I believe it's all 7, you can also get the that's when you can start doing writs, and just starting the writs sign off gives you another quest that you can complete again. So yeah, another one. And then what you can do is either delete that character and just do the same as this again, or just create another character if you want to do that, and just, yeah. So every time you delete one of these characters, you can just recreate a character and just literally do the same thing again. And that, you know, deleting, in this case, you'd only need to delete like a couple of characters, like maybe 5 to get 15, or like maybe 3, depends on how many, if you've got Greymore and all that, and how long you want to spend on it. Yeah, one last thing, keep in mind, if you are going to delete characters, you can delete 3, and then each day you get an extra one that you can delete. Like you can't delete as many as you want. It's like a limit. I imagine it's to counter bot spam or some shit. I don't know. Sauce for you. Yeah, other than that, the only other way I would do this is either to do daily quests, like pledges, if you want to do those, or like the Undaunted Daily Delve, the Mage's Guild Daily Public Dungeon, the Fighter's Guild Daily Dolmen. You can do these, especially with the Dolmen, because that's another one of the options here for the Golden Pursuit. But personally, I would probably just do main like zone story quests, because you can get skill points from these, and especially with subclassing. Like those class skill lines taking twice as many skill points, you want a lot of skill points on some characters, so it might be good to do this anyway. Okay, now let's start talking about ultimates. So the straightforward way obviously is just to cast ultimates while you're doing shit, but there is actually a way to immediately cast 20 ultimates in a row without having to use ultimates. The way you do this is to basically Schrodinger your ultimate to make it think that it's ulting, like think that it's working, but it's not. So in order to do that, you need to block cancel. So what you need to do is find an ultimate that has a cast time, or an ultimate that's a channel. Overload for sorcerers is probably one of the best bets. Another good option is via the Warden skill line for animal companions. They've got their bear ultimate. If you remove the bear and then try and cast it, and then block while you're casting it, it'll cancel. But it won't use the ultimate, but it'll still count for the ultimate as far as this endeavor goes. But in terms of the general ones, the ones that don't require a class, there is Lacerate, the level 50 for Duel, that's how you get this one. And then for max level in Fighter's Guild, you also get Dawnbreaker, which is the same thing, only the cast time is slightly shorter, which means it's just slightly more difficult to use than Lacerate. But the idea is the same, so you have to block while the ultimate is being casted, so that the cast time is interrupted. So I'll show you as an example here. So firstly, I'll just show you Overload, right? Like all you got to do is literally spam it over and over again, over and over again. It's quite obnoxious, I know, to listen to, but you can do that. And as you can see, it's just casting ultimates over and over. The other one, obviously, is Lacerate here. So what you do, I might fuck this up, but we'll see how we go. So just cast it and immediately hold block. And yeah, that also works there. So you can also do this very quickly using this method. Yeah, so doesn't always work. Sometimes you mess it up. But yeah, you can get this on ridiculously quickly either of those ways. So I'll just go through which skill lines for each class has one that you can use. So Sorcerers, they've got Overload. You don't need anything other than Overload. Dragonites, they don't have any that have a cast time, unfortunately, so you can't use Dragonites. Nightblades, they've got two. Assassination with Deathstroke has a cast time, but this requires a target, just keep that in mind. And then Siphoning, you've also got Soul Shred. This doesn't require a target, so this one's quite nice. It's also 0.5 seconds, so it's easy to use. Templars, they've got Adric's Spear. This one is a cast time of 0.3 seconds, so it's quite short. A little bit difficult to pull off that one. Warden, as I said, Animal Companions, this has got a cast time of 2.5 seconds. This is the easiest one to block cancel in the game. Necromancers don't have any, and Arcanists don't have any either. So, Sorcerer, Nightblade, Templar, Warden. Those are sort of the four good ones, I think. Okay, now we'll talk about Dolmens. Well, it's Incursions, and Incursions also includes like all the different ones from all the DLCs, like for example Somerset, the Abyssal Geezers count, but these are more difficult to do on your own and take longer to do on your own than a Dolmen does, so I just recommend doing Dolmens. The three locations I would do for this is Oridon. These ones are all located near a wayshrine that are just easy to trek to. Same with Alakir Desert. This is usually the place everybody goes to do these quickly, because you've got this one here, you've got this one here, and then you've also got this one here. I also quite like Deshan, because these ones are also quite close, and Mother Sorrow is a good stat to get Jury for. So, but yeah, I'll just do a quick demonstration of, say you haven't done one of these on your own before. It's pretty straightforward. These enemies are like about as tough as you'll find enemies in like a public dungeon or something. Also counts for defeating enemies too, which is pretty handy, because you'll need to defeat a lot of enemies for this. So, the way this works is these enemies here, they fill up souls when you kill them in these pinions here. And if you kill enough of them, the pinions will open. So I'm just going to kill the Spreadweaver here. when I do, what it'll do is it's the Solomon over there. So if enough of these, yeah, there you go. So there's, you can hear that noise. It's like the ching noise in the background. So this is what happens. You can close these pinions, and what it does is it gives you resources back. So you'll use a lot of resources killing these guys, but you can get it back from closing the pinions. And the first phase of the Dolmen ends when you close all 4 of the pinions. We'll go here, clear this one as well. Get this pinion. And even if there are enemies still up, if you close the pinions, it will kill the enemies immediately. It's worth just dealing a slight bit of damage to them, because if you damage them and then close the pinion, it will give you XP for all the kills of the enemies. So now, this is the second phase. After all 4 main pinions are down, there'll be like a middle pinion, and there'll be a tougher boss. You've got the dread enemies. There'll also be like named enemies that can pop up sometimes. But yeah, most of the time we get the dread enemies. Yeah, they're about as tough as like a public dungeon boss. So they're pretty straightforward to kill. And then once you've cleared those enemies here, the middle pinion will open up, and you can close that one, and that's the Dolmen done. So that's one incursion. You just got to do that 3 times. Now what will happen is, these Dolmens, they will always go in a specific order. So this Dolmen up here, from this point now, what will happen is the next Dolmen will start up now, in about 30 seconds-ish. So it just depends on which Dolmen's up. So for Auradon, the way it goes is it starts with this one, goes up here, and then goes up here, and then we'll reset down to this one. It's not random. On the other hand, the other incursions, for example, the Western Skyrim Harrowstorms, I don't know for certain for the Harrowstorms, but I know for certain that the volcanic vents in High Isle is random. Sometimes you can clear one and then it'll immediately start the same one again. Whereas these ones here, it's always a set rotation. So yeah, you can see this one down here is ready now. So it'll go this one, then this one, and then this one, and this one. Just always in that order. That's also another reason why Dolmens are really easy to use and really quick, because it's always a set, like a set pattern, whereas the other ones are completely random, so it can be hard to keep up with those quickly. Alright, clearing world bosses, there's sort of like an active and a chill way. So the chill way is just come to this location right next door to Daggerfall Wayshrine, right here to Western Overlook, because this boss here, it's like most of the time there's going to be people just chilling here doing the same thing, because all you can do here is just sit here, wait for this boss to spawn. When it does, you just kill it, and then wait for it to respawn again, watch YouTube in the background, and then when it comes up again, kill it again, wait again for a little bit, and then a third time is all you need. The more active way is there's a couple of places with 2 back-to-back that you can go to. So probably the best one is Green Shade. You've got Rootwater Spring and Reconnaissance Camp here. There's 2 sets of world bosses. Now I do need to keep in mind, I do need to make sure it's known that they're like anything with multiple world bosses. An example here is Reconnaissance Camp. It's got like 3 enemies. Even though there's 3 enemies, it doesn't count for 3 separate world bosses. It's just 1 world boss. So it doesn't matter how many enemies that are actually at a world boss. It only counts as 1, sadly. So it is going to take longer than just doing that once. But in this case, yeah, I think it's just best either doing some back-to-back, like the 2 here, or you can do the ones in Alaka Desert. You've got these 2 here. So Lesser Circle, where Starter is, and then the Lost Caravan. There's like a cliff, what are they called? They're like the big lizard things, rock lizard things. I can't remember what they're called, but yeah, there's one of those there. And yeah, you got the boss here. So you can just go back and forth between these 2 here a couple of times. And then same thing with Stonefalls here. You've got this boss here near this Wayshrine, and then you've got the Netch over here with this Wayshrine. The Netch is a pretty easy boss to fight. Limsgather, this guy here, is not the easiest thing to do on your own. Just keep that in mind. You, if you can get a companion with like some heavy armor, might help you, or like a healer, could help you. But usually there's going to be some other people here doing the same thing. If there's not, maybe just ask in zone chat if anyone can help you. They might come and give you a hand. There's usually some good Samaritans just like chilling in zone, willing to help people. Not always, but sometimes. Especially the new zones. Or like the low-level zones, I suppose. Right, so I'll just give you an example of a limb scatter fight. So this dude hits pretty hard, but he doesn't... Yeah, like I said, he hits very hard, but he doesn't hit very often. Now, if you... It's generally better if you can not interrupt him when he does the channel, because he'll just sit there and do nothing for a while. I'll just if you can, try not to try not to have him move, because your damage heals will do better if you can keep him still. Yeah, try to just block every attack if you can, because they come out pretty slow. The only attack that is like really hard to telegraph is the bitch slap, this thing here. If you can block that attack, absolutely do, because it hits like a fucking truck. It's so backwards. Every other attack is like slower, deals less damage. The bitch slap's the fastest thing, but it deals tons of damage. See, look at that. Half my health. Yeah, it's that for a while. Yeah, you don't have to go super defensive. But yeah, it's wise to just make sure you block that. The heavy attack and the bitch slap. Yeah, so you do that once, and then now you just gotta wait for it to respawn. Usually it takes about 5 minutes, so yeah, it's a little bit of just like a... It's not the quickest, but when you have like a bunch of people helping you, it's pretty chill. It's not much issue with it. Even if you do die, like usually the other people can just handle it on their own. Yeah, you just gotta make sure you do a little bit of damage, because if you don't do any damage at all, it doesn't count. Just as long as you do something. Usually it's fun. Next up, we got harvesting resources from the world. So any of these like static resource nodes that you find in the environment, these are going to count for this this thing. There are a few exceptions to this rule, though. One of the examples is going to be chests. These don't actually count as resources from the world for some interesting reason. So we'll grab this, and yeah, it's still 1 out of 50. Still worth grabbing them sometimes, because they can have trainee. Some of the trainee stuff's pretty good. Another exception to this rule is Psijic portals. I don't know what these actually count as. Maybe chests. I'm not too sure. And then insects are the other one. So there's 4 types of insects that you can find that don't count for this. So torch bugs are one. Butterflies are another. Flesh fly larvae, like flesh fly swarms. Just like dark swarms of insects. Those don't count. And then also wasps also don't count. Alchemy plants, though, count. And like water nodes that you can find just like next to water works. And so yeah, everything else works. So platinum works, or like jewelry seams, rough wood, alchemy plants like blessed thistle, these work. So yeah, going up in the meter now. Yeah, that works. Runestones work. Cloth nodes work. Ores work. Mushrooms work. That there. Thieves troves don't. So 4 out of 50. Put the thieves trove, and yeah, still 4 out of 50. Yeah, thieves troves count as chests, I believe. So trying to see if there's any pure water nodes. I guess there's no pure water nodes in the starter zones. So it doesn't really matter which zone you choose for this. The only one that's really going to be different to the rest is going to be Craglawn, and the reason for that is the wood, cloth, blacksmithing ore, and jewelry seam nodes, those all have a chance to give you Nurkrux. It's only that zone, though. Nurkrux is like a... I've got some here, Nurkrux. So you've got the solar stuff, and then you've got like the red cocaine stuff as well. So these things here, they sell for a lot, so it can be lucrative going through Craglawn to do this, because you might get a chance of getting these. But every other zone is basically the same, and Craglawn can be quite busy sometimes, so it might not be the greatest idea to go there. But if you can go there, and you're willing to try and compete with those players, you can definitely, yeah, you can get some Nurkrux, which might be good. And then, yeah, every other zone. There's so many resources in every zone. You just got to know what to look for. Things that can help is, especially when it comes to alchemy plants, because some of these are pretty hard to know what they look like at first. So keen eye reagents can help. Same with any of the keen eye, like cloth and whatever. But you need a lot of skill points for this sort of thing if you don't have many to spare. Also, some stuff that can really help you. There is a champion point called Master Gatherer. This is, I think, is pretty important because Master Gatherer gives you, it reduces the time it takes to harvest resources by half. So when you like pick plants, for example, like it just reduces the time. Really helpful, this one. And then, yeah, like stuff that increase your movement speed can be really good. Things that increase your mount speed can be really helpful because that's what you're going to be basically spending all your time doing, either on your mount or harvesting resources, or usually like occasionally killing an enemy that's near like a resource that you need. Also, surveys can help because surveys give you 6 nodes worth of items that all count for the resources from the world, so that can be really handy. But maybe hold on to 1 or 2 if it's like your last one, because that way, if a survey endeavor comes up, you'll still have one of these to use for that. It just means that this will be a little bit slower, but if you don't have a survey when those survey endeavors come up, you can't do them, and they tend to be one of the easy ones to do if you have a survey. So just hold on to one of them if you can. Or 2, maybe. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Just run around, and you'll eventually find this stuff. It's all over the place. Also, yeah, I should point out, Rabido hide scraps that you get from wolves and stuff, they don't count either. So don't farm wolves for that sort of thing. That doesn't work, unfortunately. Otherwise, you'd just be able to farm the skeevers in fucking Wayrest. Right, defeating enemies. So this one's pretty good because you don't have to get the last hit. You just have to like do any damage to an enemy and they die. So you can kind of just go to Dolmens for a while and do this, or public dungeons, just like with a maid or some shit if you want to do that, or dungeons or trials, or anything that you feel like doing, and it'll work. But if you want to do this as quick as possible, my advice to you is go to Skyreach Catacombs in Cragnorn. So let me get all this shit off the screen. Yeah, it can be found here. The quickest way to get here in the game is to use the home tours to get to Earth Tier Cavern. Just go in, go out the front door, and then just travel up here, go around the road here, through here, up here, and then you can get to Skyreach. You can also jump up the waterfall up here. There's like a little platforming trick you can do there, but it's not super important. Okay, so when you get the Way Shrine, from here, firstly, just have as many points into Breakfall as you can, because you'll die if you don't have enough Breakfall points, because it reduces fall damage. Just come off here, point your character towards the Skyreach on the cursor, the compass, and then yeah, you'll survive the fall. If you can't survive that, just go down the hill here. It just takes a little bit longer. So you just come up the stairs, just come down here, and Skyreach is right here. Before you go in, there's something I suggest you do, and that's just make sure you have some kind of snare remover. Nightblades have Phantasmal Escape. This one's the one I usually use. The reason for that is there is a lot of slows in here. You get slowed down like crazy. Another good option in the Sigil order line is the Channeled Acceleration Race Against Time Morph. That gives you immunity to snares. For medium armor, you've also got another one with... I believe it's a Elude. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, the Shuffle version. Shuffle Morph gives you immunity to snares and immobilizations. Same thing with the two-handed morph of Momentum, Forward Momentum. This gives you immunity as well. So things like that can help you get out of really fucking annoying slows and shit like that. Okay, so what I usually do is separate this into rooms, because I find sometimes the enemies have a hard time getting through doorways. Not always, but enough for me to not bother with it. So this first room is very easy, because it's just a bunch of melee zombies. Yeah, you can see what I mean here. You can look at these here, and these slow you down like crazy. So what you can do is use something like Phantasmal Escape to get out of it. Okay, so what we do is we pull these bone mounds here with the Skelly boys. Pull these enemies here, pull the fire pits as well, because they have skeletons too. Now we pull everything into this room here. So what I do is, I use line of sight to pull all the ranged enemies to the melee enemies, through here. Pull them into this, yeah, this is why I love Nightblades, because you can get tons of ultimate back with Soul Harvest. So yeah, just keep getting them into this spot here. Use line of sight to pull all the ranged enemies closer. Yeah, so that's part 1, and yeah, we're already halfway, so we did start with a few, but not a lot. So here, I bring everything over here, line of sight them with this pillar here, bring all the ranged enemies closer, and then go to the ranged enemies. It brings all the melee enemies too, just means you're spending less time killing all the stuff that's in the back. Stuff will spawn over time, and you can just go behind the pillar again just to bring it closer. That's not super important. Just reduces the amount of time you spend trying to kill everything. Okay, they're all dead. Now with this room, you're almost done pretty much, so you don't kind of need to do this. But if you want to kill like a lot of enemies quickly, this room is like all you need. You could get your entire 150 enemies, I think, just in this room alone. So what you want to do first, like what you can do is you can pull this fire pit, you've got these enemies, and that's like 20 enemies. But what you can do if you want everything to happen at once, what I do is I use the Shadow Ultimate because I find that to be longer lasting. So hit the Ancient Chest first, and then pull all these enemies here. If you pull the enemies first, you won't be able to use the chest. So you want to pull it. You want to hit the chest first. Right now, what I do is I put the Shadow Ultimate down here, and then what I'll do is I'll go into this corner here. I'll bring all the ranged enemies to the middle of the room, and then I'll go nuts. Ultimate down and just AoE everything down. Go to these enemies, kill these ones. And then from this point on, it's basically enemies in the middle of the room that you can easily kill with the ultimate alone. And enemies in the middle will just keep spawning and spawning, and you just can keep ult spamming them down. There's the next group. And yeah, enemies will just keep spawning over and over. And then once you're done, the chest in the middle will glow like this. You get a purple item from it. That's helpful too. And then you can literally do the same thing through the other side of the Skyreach Catacombs. You just go through here and you can do the same thing. You just group the enemies up. This side I just do the whole thing. Yeah, I'll just fucking show you. I'm already here. So this group here, I don't fight them because they're quite tanky. I just ignore them. Oh yeah, there's no bone mounts up here. I don't usually come this way. So grab that group, and then pull the fire pit. Pull this bone mound and pull the other bone mound over here. Put my ultimate here, and then... Oh yeah, I should talk about taking aim. The archers are like the biggest threat in this place, because the archers do take aim. So if you see one in the distance preparing like an orange like effect on them, or the archers, kill them first, because they're... and interrupt them too if you can. Because that attack's like the hardest hitting thing in this whole dungeon. The same thing, just come over here, line of sight the ranged enemies closer, and now we pull the melee enemies to them. The ghosts are very tanky. Very tanky. Oh, that's the whole thing. And yeah, you'll easily get 150 enemies in this place alone. Alright, last option is pickpocketing. I don't recommend doing this one over the other options on the basis that if you fuck this one up, you start incurring a pretty like hefty bounty. So if you're going to do this one, try and do it last, and try and do it just before you're about to like log off, go to work, go to bed, that sort of thing, go out for lunch, that kind of stuff. The reason for this is, you get a big bounty if you fail, and it's very, there's a lot of RNG involved with this one. So, simply put, how do you go up to people in pickpocket? You need to go into stealth, go up behind them, you get an option to pickpocket. There'll be like this green ding noise that you can hear. The only way to get this is to just wait a little while. It's just like a, every like 5 or 10 seconds or so, you get the green ding noise, and it increases your pickpocketing chance by 20%. You just wait. It's just like a over time thing. You go ding, and now you hit them. Now, as you can see there, it's just based on chance. So sometimes you'll get an item, sometimes you'll fail and get a bounty. Now, the other ways to increase your pickpocketing chance, there's 2 things. So firstly, if you're a Khajiit, there's their flare passive, the first one, it gives them an increased pickpocketing chance. I believe it's 5%, not much. The main way you're going to increase your legerdemain is through that ding passive, like the ding noise and like the effect it gives you when you're behind people, and also mainly the legerdemain passive. This is the main way you're going to get it. You get the light fingers passive here, and it really, like, it ramps up at the 4th passive, especially 50% extra. This passive takes a fucking eternity to level up. The quickest way to do it is to the same way we did the laundering before. So you can use this area here, get a bunch of items and just sell them, because you level up this by the volume of items that you sell to a fence or launder. So it doesn't matter how much they're worth, even 1 gold items, or like the 250 blue quality items, stuff like that, it doesn't matter. They all increase this by 1 each. So the easiest or the quickest way to do this is just grab a bunch of items easily without anything getting in the way, like here. Or if you have the Necrom DLC, you can go to the Necrom Underways found here, and you can just go through there, loot all the urns in that area, and sell and launder all those items. And that's probably the quickest way in the game to level this up. But it still takes fucking ages, because there is a limit to how many items you can sell and launder per day, and that value is dependent on this thing here too. It's 60 at base, which means you can. Oh, sorry, I think it's 50 or 60, one of those two. And that's 50 stolen, 50 items sold and 50 items laundered, so you can do 100 per day. But yeah, you have to wait 24 hours for that to reset each time. So, just this single level alone would take a whole day of laundering a full set of items and selling items. But yeah, if you really want to level this up super fast, it'll take a few days, and you absolutely want this passive here. Otherwise, it'll be slower. But yeah, light fingers is the way you get your legerdemain up. Light fingers is how you get your pickpocketing up. I was meant to say. This is Volkguard's Temple of Oriel area over here. Sometimes you'll get here, and all these people will be dead. Because what people tend to do is there's a quest for the Dark Brotherhood to kill people in Volkguard, just like random areas. And people will just come through here and just go on a fucking mass killing spree. And when these people are dead, I'll give you an example here. My character decides to move. So if I kill this person... Game, please. Thank you. Even if you, like... So theoretically, I'm pickpocketing them by taking the item now. Even though they're dead. But the issue is you can't pickpocket them now. And each person actually has you can pickpocket them 3 times in total. The percent chance for success goes down each time, but it is possible. But yeah, killing people causes that to not be possible. So you can make people's life difficult to do this endeavor, or this god pursuit, if you kill them. Now, there are 2 ways to sort of counteract this if you see it happen in an area. It tends to happen most with Volkguard, just because the area is so easy to access. But it can happen with other places. But if one of the easier ways to stop this from happening is to go to a different town with people that you can pickpocket. As an example here, I'm moving over to Bergama. I find Bergama tends to not have anybody coming through and killing anyone, So this is usually a great place to pickpocket, because there's a lot of people here in good spots that you can go and pickpocket. This guy, for example. Because yeah, 50% chance, ding, 70%. And yeah, sometimes won't go the way you want. If you're Nightblade, you can cloak to get away from people. And you can also pickpocket them in cloak, but if you get spotted pickpocketing in cloak, it'll pull you out. Okay, one last option. If you have access to Black Sacraments, you can use these to pickpocket people in an instance area, so you don't have to worry about anyone dying at all. So in order to get access to this, you need to complete part of the main story, like zone story quests for the Gold Coast. You need to complete up to a lesson in silence. It's about halfway through. Once you do that, you'll get access to the Black Sacraments with Fika Tyrannis. So you just spam talk, and then you'll get ported into an instance area. So these Black Sacraments, they have civilians in them, and you can pickpocket these people in the actual Black Sacrament. And the best thing about it is if you run out of people to pickpocket in an easy-to-reach area, all you have to do is just abandon the quest, and it ports you straight out. You don't have to deal with the whole thing going back or otherwise. So these people here is what you're looking for. So pickpocket this guy. You get a bounty. That's the only issue. Yeah, always happens. Every time you do one of these pickpocketing things, you'll probably get a bounty at some point. Yeah, these people are pretty easy to pickpocket from as well. Only people you have to watch out for are the guards, but even then, if you don't worry about a bounty too much, you can just kill the guards. Not a big deal. They're not difficult to kill. The only thing is they can see you through invisibility, so you can't use cloak and vampirism invisibility to get away from them. So say you run out of easy people to get to pickpocket, what you can do is you can just go to your journal, get the sacrament, and just abandon it. It'll take you straight back to Dark Brotherhood. It'll take you to the front door, so you have to go back to the quest giver. But you can just do that over and over to pickpocket a bunch of people quickly. And there's nothing else I would really recommend for doing pickpocketing. As I said, I would avoid this one just because the consequences of not doing this one well are much worse than any of the other options here. Right, so that's everything. So thanks everyone for watching. If you have any questions, as always, you just let me know. Yeah, take care, enjoy the pursuit, and I'll see you next time.